Hi, my name is Izzo Smith, and I want to welcome you to AfterShock Virtual. I want you to think about who you roll with, who your squad is, who your ride or dies are. I know what you're thinking, that obviously me, Israel, had to be Mr. Popular when he was in high school. Well, I wasn't. I was somewhere right in the middle. I was there. I had friends, right? And I'm proud to be Wheelersburg alumni. Go Pirates! But I started to go to church in Huntington, West Virginia, which is about 45 minutes away. And that's where my life really started changing. And I made friends that I'm still friends with, that have lasted so far my lifetime. And they became my ride or dies. And that's the people that became my family. We became family. I grew up hearing this saying, if you mess with one of us, you mess with the whole trailer park. And as goofy and as cliche as that sounds, that's how we were. We became family, and we are still family. And nobody messes with our family. That's how the disciples rolled. They were family. By the way, these guys were young. Most of them were teenagers, if not all of them. So FYI, Jesus was a youth pastor. Just saying. And these guys became family. They became ride or dies. They became a squad. They became one. They became a family. Peter was likely the oldest one. He was maybe upwards to 20 years old towards the end of Jesus' ministry. Now, I like Peter because I feel like I'm a lot like Peter. He tended to act before he thought. He tended to say things before he ran it through his filter, right? Probably not the best thing to do all the time. And let's be honest, a lot of us are like Peter. But man, that's why we can relate to Peter. So Peter was the oldest one. One defining moment of Peter's ride or die commitment is a brash action he took when they came to arrest Jesus. So they're in the garden, they're all praying, and the high priest comes with some officials to arrest Jesus. Peter, before thinking about anything, pulls a sword out, and he lashes out and he cuts the ear off of the high priest's servant. That's literally ride or die commitment. Peter could have been put in a lot of trouble, but ain't nobody messing with his family. That's ride or die. That's my squad. That's my family. That's how Peter was. Jesus was then put on trial. He was given an almost death sentence. He was then put up against this man named Barabbas in a popularity contest that he should have won, but he lost to Barabbas, a known killer. He then died a sinner's death on the cross, and then he was put in a tomb. During that time in the tomb, something unimaginable happened. Peter did the unthinkable. He broke squad protocol 101, the ride or die commitment. He denied even knowing who Jesus was. He broke the bro code, the ride or die commitment. He broke it. This is a man who was willing to kill for Jesus. Denied knowing who he was, not once, not twice, but 3 separate times. When it comes to the family that I gained during those teenage years, doing life together, rolling together, sticking together, I couldn't possibly imagine saying I don't know one of them, or any of us saying we don't know any one of the other people. I can't imagine that. And that's like the unthinkable. But Peter did it. Peter denied knowing who Jesus was. For us, that would have been unforgivable to deny knowing who we were. But fast forward just a little bit. See, after Jesus died and rose again, he walked the earth for 40 days. That's not a long time. So during these 40 days that we read about, that we hear about, everything that was spoken, every action that occurred, and every breath that was taken was intentional. Just like Jesus did through all of his ministry, everything was super intentional. And he's walking the earth for 40 days afterwards. So as his miracle-filled, jaw-dropping ministry is being capped off in 40 days, during one of these 40 days, Jesus goes to where the disciples are. And they're on the boat fishing. They're catching nothing. Fished all night, caught nothing. Suddenly, a stranger yells, "Why don't you throw it over on the other side?" So they do that. They took the net and they throw it on the other side of the boat. They're able to haul in, it's actually 153 large fish. It is an abundant catch. And it's at that point that one of the disciples said, "That's Jesus." Peter heard the disciples say, "That's Jesus." Peter ran to Jesus. Remember, Jesus died, he rose again. This is all post-death, post-resurrection. Peter rushes to Jesus, and they bring in the giant catch. Now, these guys come in, and Jesus has bread by a charcoal fire, and he has fish on the fire. He's cooking them breakfast. He's cooking them breakfast, and he says, hey, bring in some of the things you have. Bring in some of the fish you have. We're going to cook breakfast. We're going to eat together. We're going to be a family together. After the meal is over, Jesus, in his intentional walk, his intentional actions, his intentional words, his intentional breath, speaks to Peter directly in front of all the disciples that are there. Remember, he's not wasting a single moment. Jesus says, Peter. He calls Peter out. He says Peter's name. Peter, the man who denied him 3 times. Peter, do you love me? Yes, I do. Jesus asked him again, Peter, do you love me? Yes, I do. Peter, do you love me? Asked him 3 times. Yes, I do, Lord. You know that I love you. He asked him, do you love me 3 times by a charcoal fire? Flashback. We know that Peter denied knowing Jesus 3 times. Jesus asked him in the future, do you love me 3 times? Here we are, after all this went down, and Jesus saying, do you love me? Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Jesus restored Peter. He took a person that denied even knowing who he was, that broke ride or die protocol 101, who broke the bro code, broke the squad rules, did the unthinkable, unimaginable. And he asked him, do you love me? Peter, do you love me? Peter, do you love me? 3 times, gave him every chance and restored him by letting him say, yes, I love you. The same amount of times he denied knowing who he was. I know it's not just me, but I'm a lot like Peter, especially when it comes to Jesus. I mess up, and I mess up huge, but he still restores me. If Jesus restored Peter, he'll restore you. No matter what you've done, he'll restore you. If you're watching this and you feel like you've broken the commitment, the ride or die commitment to Jesus, he wants to restore you. All you have to do is let him. He wants to restore you. Hey man, you don't know what I've been through. No, I don't. He does. No man, you don't understand. I've done some pretty terrible. No, you don't understand. He is Jesus. He is bigger than all of it. And he wants to restore you. He wants to bring you back. He wants to let you know, no matter what you've done, I still love you. We are still ride or dies. If you feel like you need to pray, I just want you to say this prayer after me. If you want to be restored in Jesus, I want you to repeat this prayer after me. And all you got to do is mean it with all your heart. You may not feel it from your head to your toe. All you got to do is mean it. And it's all good. And he will restore you. He wants to restore you. So if you're watching, you want to say that prayer with me, just bow your head and repeat after me. Dear Jesus, I need you. I admit that I need you. I know you died for me and rose again, even though I didn't deserve it. Thank you for loving me. I proclaim that you are King of my life and King of my heart. I am restored in you. I am a child of God. Amen. Whether you've attended 100 times, whether you've attended once, whether you've checked us out virtually, we are family. Thank you for checking out AfterShock Virtual. I hope you have a blessed day.